talk about this material, I think people in education hear a lot about student-centered education, and I think many teachers try hard to implement student-centered education. But what does that mean? And how can you implement student-centered education successfully? Hello everybody, I'm going to talk about differentiation instruction today. Many of our teachers know about student-centered education, and many of them are trying to implement student-centered education in their classroom. But it's not an easy task. So in this talk, I will show you why differentiated instruction is one way to implement student-centered education. But before that, let me show you several things. First of all, there is a declaration sponsored by UNESCO that titled Education for All. In the first article, it states that every person, being a child, youth, or adult, shall be able to benefit from educational opportunities designed to meet their basic learning needs. So it's a right for everyone to have basic education. This declaration is a result of a conference held in Jomtien, it's a city in Thailand. Because of that, many countries have basic compulsory education. Most of them put 9 years for that compulsory education. But nowadays, some countries intend to extend basic compulsory education to 12 years. And if we talk about basic education, we know that mathematics is very important. It's always given every year during that 12 years. So from grade 1 to grade 12, you will find mathematics as one of the subjects in the education. That's because the importance of mathematics in modern life. Literacy in mathematics is mandatory for everyone to have a successful life nowadays. Therefore, for every country, they have a need to achieve excellence in mathematics. Now I want to show you some results that comes from research in education in the United States. When we are talking about research in education, United States is probably, we can say, the leading country. And that's a good thing because United States is quite open in publishing, in sharing their results. Many education systems that's considered successful learn a lot and benefit from research in education in the United States. You can say, for example, Finland or Japan. So, when we are talking about student-centered education, we can relate that to one of the principles that's put forth by NCTM, that's the Organization of Mathematics Teachers in the United States. The first principle of school mathematics by NCTM is equity principle. It says excellence in mathematics education requires equity, high expectations, and strong support for all students. So that means that everyone has to have to have high expectation and strong support. So we cannot say that some students, because they are not talented enough in mathematics to achieve something low. No, we can expect that everybody achieve something that's quite high. But to achieve something high, you need strong support. And this is for all students, not only for the most talented or the most interested students. There are some explanations by NCTM about this principle. One of them is says that equity requires accommodating differences to help everyone learn mathematics. Another research in the United States give another principle in learning. The principle tells us that students come to the classroom with preconceptions about how the world works. So a student is not like an empty cup and that the teachers just pour water into the cup. No. Students come with something in their head. And in order for the student to get a good understanding, their initial understanding must be engaged. So it must be involved. Because as we know that in mathematics, knowledge is built upon existing knowledge. And because of the background of students, what they bring to classroom may vary greatly. And as we understand that every individual is a product of his or her past. So let's say that for me myself, what I am today is a product of my past. So that's what my parents provide my upbringing, what my teachers in schools give education to me, and also my surrounding, my environment that I have lived through give something to my life that makes me what I am today. And there are endless possibility for this background, and therefore we can say that there is endless variation for individuals in the world. So if you come to a classroom and you see 30 students, 40 students, and all of them are different, the difference appear in many aspects. You can see immediately their physical difference. So for example, some people have a darker skin and some other may have a curly hair, some others probably are good looking. So that's our physical difference. But when we are talking about education, about learning, it's not the physical differences that's the most important. Okay, so the differences in students makes the class heterogeneous. It's not homogeneous. And for our teachers, how you handle this situation? Whatever the students, we believe that they can go all the way and attain the best result for them. But all of them start from different starting points. So how to handle this kind of situation? Definitely single treatment in the one-fits-all style will not work. If we implement that, then some students will become disadvantaged. So that comes the concept, the idea of differentiated instruction. Literally, we can say that differentiated instruction is an instruction that recognizes differences among students and then provides the students with different responses or actions. There are a lot of differentiated instruction experts in the United States. One of them is Carroll and Tomlinson, and we will use his ideas. We will use her ideas repeatedly here. First, she gave one definition for differentiated instruction, or sometimes we say it shortly as differentiation. So Tomlinson in 1999 states that differentiation is an organized yet flexible way of proactively adjusting teaching and learning to meet kids where they are and help them to achieve maximum growth as learners. So here differentiation is a way, that consists maybe methods and techniques that is planned for teaching and learning, and in doing so, the plan should be flexible. This is because, again, students are different. So teachers must be flexible so he or she can make appropriate adjustment when he or she comes to the class. However, this adjustment should not be haphazard. It should be contemplated and hopefully predicted before. So what's the aim, the goal of this organized plan? It's to help the students to achieve maximum growth as learners, starting with the condition that the students have as they are. So that's one definition that Tomlinson gives to us. She gives other definition as well, but I like this definition very much. So let's talk more about how differentiation works. First of all, we have to understand that differentiation focuses on learning. Of course, because the focus on learning, then we have to talk about the consequential aspect to teaching. So here we see first learning, and then we see teaching as a consequence of the learning that's needed. So first of all, differentiated instruction addresses different phases of learning. Students in their earlier stage can be called novice. After some time learning, we expect the student to be capable. She or he can do something. After some times later, then we expect the students to become proficient. That means that he or she knows more and knows that fluidly, and so the students can do many things fluently. The emphasis in differentiated instruction is qualitative. We are talking about quality of students. So quantitative is secondary. So, for example, we will not think that better student, for example, can do more problems than less able students. It's possible that the two types of students do the same number of problems, but the quality of the problems are different. When we see the phases of learning of students from novices to capable to proficient, then we see different learning needs. And differentiated instruction is a way to accommodating these needs. So when a student grow from novice to capable and then to proficient, from each step, from each change, the teacher must make adjustment, and this adjustment justified by assessment. As I said before, students have many types of differences. On what aspect of differences a teacher should make differentiation? In mathematics, we usually don't make differentiation because of physical differences. Tomlinson proposes some aspect of student characteristic as a base for differentiation. The first is readiness. Readiness reflects what a student currently knows, understands, and can do. And this knowledge, this understanding, and this ability will be needed for the topics that the teacher is planning to teach next. The second aspect is interest. Interest means what a student enjoys learning about, thinking about, and doing. So, for example, many boy students like soccer, and it's a good idea for teachers if he or she can use soccer as a base to hook students to mathematics. The third one is learning profile. Learning profile has to do with how a student learns, and this is influenced by learning style, gender, and culture. The next question to be answered is what aspect to differentiate? Tomlinson proposes content. Content is what a student should know, understand, and be able to do after the learning. This means that a teacher can filter the material to be learned by students. Not all material should be discussed in class. This doesn't mean that the teacher sacrifice or compromise the curriculum. Instead, the goal of the instruction unit remains the same to all students, but different students may begin from different starting points, and certainly they may end at different ending points too. The second aspect to differentiate is process. This is talking about how students come to understand and internalize the content to be learned. Tomlinson states that while process is usually considered synonymous to activities, but not all activities are worthwhile. So she and her co-author provide some criteria for worthwhile activities. So, for example, the good activities, the worthwhile activity should ask students to use specific information and skills to come to understand an important idea or principle. The final aspect to differentiate is product. Product is related to how a student demonstrates what he or she has come to know, understand, and be able to do as a result of learning. Usually, when we are talking about product of education and how to judge, how to say about the quality of the product, we usually remember test. But products here should not be restricted only to test. Differentiating product can be viewed as providing evidences of the success of learning, and this can be achieved by using alternative forms.